Hello, everybody. It's Julie and I
Hi,
again.
everyone.
Um, I don't even know how to start this. Uh, so I was just telling Julie that my husband and I were talking earlier today, and I was explaining to him how people have this misconception. I froze that heaven is out here, and it's not out. It's kind of linear, kind of like how our sun showed us that there are dimensions or realms and they're stacked, right? Am I making sense? They're stacked, like dominoes, stack, stack, and stack. So another realm isn't out here, it's just another realm stacked in front of ours.
It's like another dimension.
Right, another realm, another dimension just stacked right here. And so he was like, oh, that makes total sense, right? And I said, well, it does make sense because, the loves and other spirit guides have always said, the doorway, if you want to get to something, you have to go through, and they're meaning through us. You're the
Yeah.
doorway, that you have to go through to get through, right? So the other realms are just stacked right next to ours, and that makes total sense
It
because,
does.
especially with space, I don't know anything about space and time, but if my little pea brain thinks about it, not too hard, but just enough to get the concept of it, it makes total sense.
It really does make sense. And
Mm-hmm.
not just, I mean, have you ever seen shows, or I've seen photos where
Right.
somebody got up, for example, and she wanted to take a picture. Oh, no, she was showing her house and she was taking a picture of her bedroom. And she
Mm-hmm.
had this big TV, one of those tube TVs that
Oh
they
yeah,
used to
yeah,
have.
the old ones.
Yeah, but when she looked back at the photo, and the TV wasn't turned on. It was the exact same bedroom she was in back in 1950s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was almost like she took a photo of another dimension. Isn't that
That
crazy and
that
awesome?
right, because she got a peek through the matrix,
Hmm.
right? So in that conversation my husband and I were having, I said, so I'm going to take this just a step further with what the love share have always shared with me. And that is, everybody's is always talking about the third realm energy, fourth realm, fifth realm energy. And I said, the way that they've kind of explained it to me is things that are happening in the third density energy, right? Compared to the fourth density and the fifth density energy, is we have to work, it's our frequency, our vibration. Like attracts like. So the harder we work on like meditation and being of service, right? Those lower density energies will not affect us
Exactly, they
with
won't.
things that are going on. I took it a step further and I said, you know how you watch the news and it's always negative? I said, yes, it's okay to be informed about what's going on around you, but not to be part of it. And if you're not
Exactly.
part of it, right, and you're not, like attracts like, that energy, you're going to start resonating with it. I said, that's why you notice when you turn the news on, I step out of the room because I can't be around that energy too long.
Hmm.
It dips my vibration down, my energy down. And so he said, I kind of think I get what you're saying. Poor thing, he's growing, love him to death. And he goes, so he goes, so like every night when you say, we are so grateful for what we have around us. I said, exactly. He said, so kind of like when we're grocery shopping, he says, the other things aren't affecting us when it comes to the price gouging and stuff like that. I said, yeah, kind of like that. If I don't put my energy in that and I don't get into it, right? Like with what's going on in the world, if I don't even address it, it won't affect me. I'm not ignoring it. I understand it's there, but I'm not feeding my energy into any of that. And he
That's
goes,
so true.
ah, I think I'm catching on to what you're saying.
So
So
that
me,
involves a lot. Yeah.
yeah. So I think he had a little aha moment, but it makes sense, and it kind of took what the loves have been teaching me, and after I kind of shared just a little bit with him, couldn't share too much, might don't want to overwhelm him. I kind of got the light bulb moment too. It just reinforced it back to me. I was like, ah, okay, I'm catching on to slowly but surely, right?
Can I turn my light on? Sorry, guys, but it's getting dark in here.
Yeah, it is getting dark over on
Your
her
light
side.
down, getting dark. Oh, we're keeping it real, right?
Yeah, we're still learning the lighting as we go along here.
Yeah, that's fun. Oh, there
Ooh,
goes the
yeah,
light.
that looks nice. Pretty, it's
No, it's too
brighter,
bright.
much brighter.
Yeah, it's right over me, so I got to work on it.
But it looks
Anyway,
good. Doesn't
love
look
it.
bad.
And you
So,
know, the thing with lifting our vibration, a lot of people get misunderstand raising our vibration. They think that we have to expand it out, but when we
right,
expand our vibration out, it gets all it gets all over the place.
we lose it.
Yeah.
I think we lose it. We don't have control of it, and that makes so much sense. But right, exactly. If we're wasting our time sending it out, what are you sending it to?
Right. It's good for psychic use if you want to use it psychically for one individual or something like
Right.
that. But it's not good to use it. Same thing with mediumship and trance. I'm sorry, but we got to hold hands. But we won't go there. We'll finish what you were talking about.
Well, I kind of I thought that was the basis of our conversation, and
But
so
that's
then
part of growth.
well, right, and then he kind of went a little further. He goes, so so fourth realm and fifth realm, is that here or is that out here? I was like, okay. So I said, it's we want to get to the fifth vibrational frequency wise. I said, but in my opinion, if you're going to go to the fifth realm, fifth density, that's when you're crossing over.
Yeah,
I
it
said,
is.
but
The
there is a
fourth
lot of
dimension.
people who will fight me on that and
Mhm.
say, no, 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 it's here. And I'm like, no,
Yeah. A
it's
lot of people think that if you go to the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, that you're more connected to spirit. But you're always connected to
connected to
spirit. It's
spirit.
just our awareness. The fourth
Hmm.
dimension is part of is the spirit world.
And
Seriously, it is. And then you
and
have
I
the
right,
fifth.
I not
Is
to interrupt you, but don't you think that when we're doing trance work that we are kind of in that fourth density?
our vibration
Yes.
is being raised, and we can connect with the fourth dimension, but not
Hmm.
100%.
Right, right, because we're still in having the human experience. So I kind of explained it a little that way. I said, so when we work with, psychics, mediums, especially trance mediums, yes, we are vibrationally pushing up to that fourth density
Mm-hmm.
to work with spirit. We can't be there all the time because it would wear our nervous system out, our adrenal system out. Our body can't isn't meant to handle that.
Because our body can't get to the fourth
Right.
dimension, or the
Just the
fifth, or the
spirit.
sixth. It's not,
Right.
yeah. So our oversoul and our soul is connected to the dimension.
Right.
But and these are things that I've been given. But raising our vibration and keeping high has a lot more to do. One of the first steps is not allowing a negative news
Right.
or a negative movie or whatever
Or
to
politics, anything.
any of that stuff to lower your vibration by
Right.
making you feel angry, and then start stepping outside the illusion.
Right. And we went into that too. I said, how people refer to the Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
because he always thought that was just a bunch of, he didn't understand really the Matrix. What are they talking about? He's old school. And so he said, "Oh, now I kind of get what you refer to as the Matrix." I was right. It's an illusion. That's all.
So our souls were brought here for experience,
Right.
right?
School.
Yeah, and everything is supposedly an illusion, but our body is not. It's not the illusion. Our soul is in our body. What is it called? I wrote about this. Our
Right.
soul is having the experience. Our
Right.
body is what suffers.
Right.
Physicalness is what suffers. But at the same time, if you want to work to keeping and raising your vibration, you it's kind of like spirit just flashed over your face.
They've been with me all day. They've been with me all day.
So
We've been working hard with my husband.
yeah. So let's just say that you're in the kitchen with your husband, and he goes, like my husband did one time, for example. I'm making mashed potatoes by scratching around there, and he's stirring it, and I'm going, and all he did was to squish the mashed potatoes up in the water, and it wound up being watered potatoes.
Right?
So I found myself going like, and then I stepped back. This is when I started realizing that I was really growing. This was a couple years ago when I noticed it. It takes time.
It does.
And I stepped back, and it was almost like I saw the illusional me want to snap at him for doing
Right.
that. But I kind of stepped out of my body and
And to
saw
right.
my soul stepped out of my body, and it was like a teaching moment for me. Do you know what I mean?
I
So,
do. It's like
it's,
that's a true observer moment to where you step back
yeah,
and and you see what's actually happening. Yeah, yeah, I've
yeah.
had those moments. I call them
Our
observer moments.
reaction can create
Yeah.
a not yeah. So yeah,
Not reacting is a great lesson.
yeah. Or just say gently, they were supposed to be mashed potatoes, but I
Now we're
can't
having
cook
soup,
this and that
potato
because
soup.
yeah. Or I appreciate that you're trying to help and you stir the pot.
Right.
I try to do it that way
Right.
now.
Because that is true because every interaction we have with another individual can either raise or lower our vibration.
Yeah.
And that is
And
so
over,
important. That's part of the journey here. Everything, we're all vibration. We're all
and,
energy.
and over time, we when you say that I got this goes and that goes, and I can get on that subject and this, and I'm
Right.
trying not to
I
do that.
know, right? We can go all over
And
the
over
place.
time, it becomes a habit within ourselves because we learn to suppress,
Right.
which is part of our ego, and
Hmm.
and keeping it high. And after a while, it becomes easy. But you always have challenges. You always have challenges.
Always. We're always being tested on we're going to react or are we going to step back and be non-reactionary and just take the observer role and just
Yeah.
see how it's going to play out. And I call that like kind of protecting our energy where we want to place it, where because we control it. We do control our energy. So I think we're tested kind of every day. I don't want to say tested, but it's a chance for us to look at things differently every day on how we're going to react with our energy. Is it worth it?
And then you know what happens when you become like that? You start looking at the person
Right.
as another soul that's actually living their journey,
Right.
and a lot of them need healing, and it's hard to do that a lot of
It's
times. Sometimes it's
very
hard.
hard. Very hard because you know the human this is another reason I think that we chose to come down here too. Emotions on the other side, they're not emotional like we are here. Not at all. That loving, everybody's getting along, everybody happy doing their thing on the other side. Here, this is where we get a chance to express all those emotions: happy, sad, glad, mad, grief, right? Devastation. All those emotions that we don't uh, use over there because there's no need to.
But
So,
we don't really want to come down here for grief
no,
and sadness. That's such a myth, but
it is.
it
It
really
is.
is.
But we do experience it while we're here.
But we do. We have no choice.
Right. And some of us
The
experience
domino effect is what it
it
is. Yeah.
truly, right? We experience it to the fullest.
Yeah.
Some of us. You're right. And there's good lessons in all of that too. But on the other side, they are not stuck on emotion.
No, they're not. But this goes back to when you first started with raising, keeping our vibration high and our energy high. It's within our soul that
Mm-hmm.
we need to learn this in our physical body, our physical being.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, you can sit here. I could sit here and go to trance go in trance, for example, or meditate or whatever. But until I live a more proper, loving life and understand and bring my heart out to everybody,
Right.
and it's easy.
No, it's not.
Realize everybody's here for the same purpose we're here for,
Hmm.
even though they may not realize it. That you cannot really connect with spirit as much as people think they are connecting. I'm sorry, but if
Right.
you're
To
in a
have that true connection to the spirit world, you have
yeah,
to really, like you're saying, meet people where they are, see them where they are, and try not to have judgment and realize you could easily be in that person's circumstances very easily because
yeah,
everybody kind of is a mirror back to some aspect of our soul where we've what we've encountered along the way. And if you look at it like that, I think it's a lot easier to see people and not be
yeah.
real judgy.
And it all has to do with growth and ascension,
Hmm.
but ascension within ourselves. That's what true
Right.
ascension really
Right.
is.
Inward. Got to
Yeah,
go to get through to get to.
yeah,
In you, not out there.
yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly. So when we sit in the power and you hear all the videos and stuff, and people say, and I've been guilty of it too,
Well, I think we
to
all
all
were in
that.
the beginning, right?
Yeah,
Go
to
out. Go
push your
out.
hair out, push your heart out, push that out, push it out, push it out. And I have never related to that. And
I
I would
haven't
be
used
like, I'm a medium. Well, what's going on here? Well, it's because it's not the way to do it. You need to
go in.
bring it in
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
already there. We don't
It's
have to
right.
push it out.
And just what we're talking about is always heart centered. If you want to really be in tune with your soul, right, and with spirit, always be heart centered, not brain centered. Drop down into your heart and expand it inward
Yeah.
and not out.
And you can share if you're in a circle, like a trance circle and a physical circle. For example, your energy is still vibrating with each other. All that stuff is still. You don't have to push it out, but you can practice this. You can take and set for trance, for example, if you ever want to try it in a practice, expand yourself out to another person
Right.
or have them expand out to you, and you'll feel that thing and you'll think, oh my God, this is so powerful. But that person, that woman, that man, whoever it is, expanding their auric field out to you, and they can be nosy with it if they want, so to speak.
It's true. Very
And
true.
then use it to come within. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but trance, meditation, spirit, it's within us, within us. So.
And spirit preaches that all day long. My loves do. I'm sure your team does too. You know, in right. And when we connect with spirit, we're connecting through the heart.
It's automatic.
Automatic. It's that lovey, I mean, wonderful feeling, and you recognize because it's all through love. And if we did that with other human beings, connected through love, through our heart, doesn't mean you have to love them. You're just being in the energy of love, and not gooey love, just real love for another human being. Compassion. That connection can be instantaneous no matter what they're going through or what you're going through. You see something in them and recognize it's something in them that you have in common, and that's the heart. That's the love.
It's all of it's not easy for us though, but it does
No.
take time and years to. I mean, to this day, I still feel my ego rising. I know when my ego's
Absolutely.
rising, and I know how to suppress it. But there's times I'm
Right.
like, I don't.
Right. Road
Yeah,
rage.
I don't know
Don't
how to do
care.
it. Oh, I'm getting better at that one too.
Right.
Yeah, but
I know. And that's the whole thing. We're human. But if it's brought into our consciousness, and if we bring it into other people's consciousness, then it cannot be refused.
mhm.
How can you? The information was brought in. Now you do with it what you need to, or not. But it's there. The
Yeah.
information is there.
It can be in so many situations.
Hmm.
So many situations that we can realize. And it's silly. For example, when I was at the farm today, um, there's a propane fireplace in it, It's an old building,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's all the pot lights on. So I turned the heat up for my granddaughter so she could sit there. She was cold.
Aw.
When I came back and she stirred up and she goes, "I'll turn it off," and I went, "No," like that, because when she turned it on, she literally turned the pilot light and everything, or she
Oh
went
no.
white.
You're
And I
right.
said, "You should never touch anything until you're taught how to do what's going on."
Right.
So I couldn't get it on,
Oh
and I
no.
imagined that maybe the
Right.
propane was coming out, whatever. So long story short, Dermot came down, the owner. Called him, and he goes, "What happened?" And I told him, and he went to say something to him, and I could feel my ego rise, and
Going
I
up. Yeah.
said, "I've already told her,"
Right.
and he said, um, "Yeah, well, don't touch it." Well, I said, "And I've already told her," and I knew if he said one more word, I was going to say.
Right.
That's where you lose control. I went,
Right.
sometimes you can't keep it there. But there was a time when he first walked in there, I would have said, "Don't say a word to her." But
Right.
yeah.
Mama bear comes out. Right. Yeah. Right. But
that's
you
that's a small
recognize it.
example, but those
Right.
little things, yeah.
The more you recognize it, the more it's easier to tell that ego, I got it. I got it. Now go sit down. I got it. I got it. I
Yeah,
got it. Because the ego is there for a reason. It thinks
yeah.
that it needs to protect us. It thinks it needs to. Yeah.
So many examples of ego, and people
Right.
always like, well, I've been under this meeting. I learned from this medium. I learned from this teacher. I learned from this. Why brag about I learned from spirit?
Right.
Sorry, but that's right.
It's
That's a little
true.
ego there, but
It's
I
true.
see it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. Every mentor is brought into our life for a reason, but this is my own opinion because it happens to me so many times. Spirit has directed me to that mentor for a reason, whether it be positive or negative.
But that's not, yeah, but my point is, you ever see people use their ego and brag about how many
Right.
teachers they've been under?
But Spirit's the number one teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Spirit will direct, look, that's what I meant. Spirit directs us, well, me, like to you, to others, right? I've only had two, but I'm good with that. But yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. But that contract that we made with Spirit before we incarnated was to keep us on this path, keep us directed where we need to go. And if we're going to follow that path, then they are going to direct us where we need to go. But we should always swing it right back to Spirit. They're the ones keeping us on track and pointing us in these directions.
Yeah.
But we don't need the ego to get involved and say, bup, 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 bup. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So our guides are there to direct us.
Right.
That's when you have the Jesus and the Great White Brotherhood and
Mm-hmm.
other beings and all like that to help you in other ways too, because our
Absolutely.
guides are so busy taking care of us.
Oh
I
my
tell them,
gosh, right?
do that. Yeah,
Right?
right.
Don't stir the pot. I just see him. Don't stir the pot right now.
That's funny.
It is funny. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little tidbit with my husband because
That's nice. And
I
he
think
listened. That's what's really nice.
that was nice. Tell me your opinion on this. Do you think, like from with my family, I'll use my family for example. The more that I sit, and the more that I work with spirit and raise my vibration, don't you think it helps others around us in our
Oh
family?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
truly do. And when we set the example,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like I think it's helped my younger daughter, a lot. I think it has.
Mm-hmm.
She's very, 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 very psychic. I mean, she's
Right?
really psychic. Yeah, but and she knows. I do believe that.
I do too. I really think that it helps the ones that are around us because I don't know if it necessarily raises their vibration, but they have the opportunity to raise their vibration with the work that we do with spirit.
Yeah,
Because how could it not?
yeah. And raising our vibration is learning to keep it there,
Right.
to live in that rise. So yeah, and if you set the example with people around, it does. I mean, we are entitled. We are humans, though. We are entitled to mood swings and things of that nature.
Absolutely. Hormonal changes, us being women.
Yeah.
We get a break every once in a while.
I know we were given machines when our souls came here to incarnate with a a physical body. It's like a machine. You got to keep it running, and it breaks
Right.
down.
But I notice the more that I really am conscious about my vibration and keeping it where it needs to be, I've noticed huge changes in my diet as well. And that does make sense because our body needs to be conditioned to
Hmm.
hold that vibration. And you've had dietary changes too,
Yeah,
haven't you? I
yeah.
think it just happens organically.
I think it just comes to you at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that from getting off of meat, it hurt my health.
Yeah, same here.
It really hurt my health, but it was because I waited so many years. I think there might be background noises. Hopefully, this thing. Do you hear
That's Yeah, I heard a car, but that's fine. I got dogs that bark.
it?
It happens. We're not in studio. We're just in our homes. We're in our homes connecting with you in your home.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah, I do too. It's real. We're just being real with everybody.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We don't have to do all that fancy stuff.
yeah. Two
So
chicks and
that
two
was
microphones and a computer. We got it. The spirit.
okay, guys. Thank you so much, and we shall see you again
Yeah.
soon. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.